He killed a disciple of Stone Wolf sect first, and now he's threatening Chen Feng Li. How bold was he? Stone Wolf sect was the overlord within the radius of 1,000 miles. Compared with such a powerful entity, no matter if it was the Ling clan or the Cheng clan, neither clan had the qualifications to be compared with it on the same level. Was Ling Han deliberately seeking his own demise? Chen Feng Li was startled for a moment, for he had been shocked by Ling Han's gaze. It was as deep and as vast as the ocean, filled with dignity, as if it belonged to a supreme warrior. However, he quickly realized that he had actually been threatened by a mere martial artist in element-gathering tier, and could not help laughing, and deeply said, "Oh, and how do you plan to kill me?" "I don't need to do anything. Within 5 days, you'll die anyway," Ling Han said calmly, and pointed a finger at Chen Feng Li. "About 10 days ago, when you were cultivating, did you encounter some trouble?" Chen Feng Li's expression instantly changed. Just as Ling Han had said, while he had been cultivating 10 days ago, he suddenly felt as if he had comprehended something, and decided to break through to the 4th layer of gushing spring tier, yet did not succeed. On the contrary, he accidentally caused the origin power within his body to enter the wrong pathways, but thankfully he managed to withdraw in time, and so there was not too much damage done. How did this brat know that? Had he guessed? Ling Han smiled and said, "Try to press on the spot 3 inches below your left ribs." Chen Feng Li's first natural reaction was to say, "How preposterous," but his hand could not help moving and pressing down on the spot 3 inches below his left ribs. With a light touch, his entire expression changed once again. Pain, excruciating pain. "And the spot 1/2 an inch to the right of the 7th bone of your spinal column," Ling Han continued to say. Chen Feng Li once again touched that exact spot, and cold sweat appeared on his forehead. This was definitely not normal. "You overdid it when you were cultivating. You don't sense anything wrong, because you are still in that state of madness," Ling Han said, before revealing a confident smile. "I can save you." Chen Feng Li clenched his teeth and said, "Fine, you teach me how to cure myself, and I will forgive your sin this time." "Elder Chen." Cheng Wen-kun was both shocked and enraged. Wouldn't that mean that Cheng Xiaoyuan had died for nothing then? "En?" Chen Feng Li turned his glare towards Cheng Wen-kun, his eyes filled with malevolence. How could a minor character like Cheng Xiaoyuan compare to the importance of his own life? Cheng Wen-kun hurriedly shut up, cold sweat beading on his forehead. To actually dare to talk back to a strong warrior in gushing spring tier, he would die a meaningless death. Yet Ling Han only shook his head and said, "In any case, you're in the gushing spring tier, and yet your life is only worth so much." Chen Feng Li's heart was filled with fury, but as his life was held in the hands of another, he could not allow himself to display any of his rage. He could only suppress the flames of anger and say, "Then what do you want?" Ling Han smiled softly and said, "That will depend on your performance." Chen Feng Li was extremely depressed. He was the 9th elder of Stone Wolf sect and a powerful warrior of gushing spring tier. Under normal circumstances, he would be the one standing at the top, holding court over others. When did he become someone that could be easily manipulated by a puny little martial artist in element-gathering tier? But what else could he do? His life was held in Ling Han's grasp. From the moment Ling Han had accurately pointed out the day he had experienced trouble in his cultivation, and through the agony he felt when he pressed down on the 2 acupuncture points, he no longer held any doubt and fully believed Ling Han's words. "Do you have any commands, then, young Master Han?" He lowered his stance. "Pooh!" Hearing the words young Master Han, all the observers immediately gasped in shock. That was an actual elder from Stone Wolf sect, a real warrior in the gushing spring tier, and he actually addressed Ling Han as young Master Han. How could this not induce astonishment? Ling Han revealed a soft smile and said, "Are you planning to get the method of solution and then kill me?" "How could that be?" Chen Feng Li hurriedly gave a dry laugh, yet he had already started sweating. Ling Han's heart was clear. He naturally would not allow himself to be in danger. He would cure Chen Feng Li, but would definitely not cure him entirely in one go. He pointed at Cheng Wen-kun and said, "This man annoys me. Thrash him for me." Cheng Wen-kun's face instantly turned green. The reason why he had invited Chen Feng Li was to gain a powerful support for himself, so as to resolve the problem of Ling Dongxing's closing in on them at every step, causing the stagnation of the finances of the Cheng clan, and leading to the entire clan being forced into a corner. But he had never imagined that this helper he had invited would actually turn around to help the Ling clan. How could he not be sullen at this? If anyone were to give him a piece of tofu now, he would definitely knock himself to death with it. "Senior Chen," he stuttered, in front of a powerful warrior of gushing spring tier. His cultivation level of the 9th layer of element gathering tier was practically helpless. "En, are you planning to fight back against me?" Chen Feng Li said coldly. Cheng Wen-kun had no relationship with him anyways, so naturally, he had absolutely no conflicted feelings about giving the guy a good thrashing. He had already bowed his head to Ling Han just now, so he might as well just go ahead and throw caution to the wind. Cheng Wen-kun's expression changed multiple times, before he finally just gritted his teeth and said, "I dare not." If he dared resist, he would definitely die. Even a blind man could tell that Chen Feng Li was extremely unhappy now. "Pa!" Chen Feng Li raised his hand and lowered it, gifting Cheng Wen-kun with 2 slaps. The strength behind his blows caused blood to stain the corners of Cheng Wen-kun's lips. There was complete silence in the main hall. The only thing disturbing the silence was the harsh breathing of the audience. Who would have thought that things would play out in this manner? Even Ling Dongxing had never imagined that his son was so capable as to be able to control a powerful warrior in gushing spring tier, causing him to be both shocked and comforted. He truly had a good son. The faces of Cheng Shang and his brother kept twitching. If there was a hole in the ground now, they would really want to go and hide in it. They had been so confident and arrogant previously, thinking that they could now regain their lost pride. They had never expected that even their old man would be thrashed now. The banquet tonight could practically be added to the Cheng clan's history of dishonor. Even when Cheng Wen-kun spat out a tooth and swallowed blood due to the thrashing, he still dared not display the slightest anger on his face. Still, no matter how shrewd he was, there was no way he could still put on a carefree expression. The veins on his forehead were protruding, showing that he was obviously at the deepest levels of his fury. "Ling clan! Ling clan! I swear I will definitely destroy you until nothing is left," he roared angrily within his heart. "As long as Third Uncle successfully breaks through to Gushing Spring Tier, we will definitely be able to avenge ourselves." Ling Han nodded and said to Chen Feng Li, "I will write a medicine formula for you, which will help you suppress your injuries temporarily. You will not have any trouble for half a year's time." Though Chen Feng Li did not want to accept this, he also knew that Ling Han would definitely not cure him completely in one go. If it were him, he too would have reservations. After all, Ling Han was the weaker party here. He could thus only nod and said, "Many thanks, young Master Han." As things have already played out to this step, the banquet was obviously at an end. Staying any longer would only be awkward. The guests excused themselves one after another, while Ling Han left the Cheng clan residence in the company of Ling Dongxing and Liu Yu Tong after handing over the medicine formula to Chen Feng Li. "Ha!" On the carriage, the hearty laughter that Ling Dongxing had tried so hard to hold back was finally released. He waved a fist vigorously and said, "I have competed with Cheng Wen-kun for over half of my life, but I have never released my pent-up anger like tonight. However, Hana, tonight was still quite dangerous. Had Chen Feng Li not experienced trouble in his cultivation some days ago, the matter tonight would not have been resolved so easily. After all, a disciple of Stone Wolf sect had died tonight." Ling Han smiled. If he had not noticed that there was something wrong with Chen Feng Li, he would still have 2 alternatives to choose from. The first alternative was naturally simple, to not kill Cheng Xiaoyuan, while the second alternative was to still kill Cheng Xiaoyuan, but reveal Liu Yutong's identity to take care of the issue, but he no longer needed to consider this problem now. 1 more month, and the Cheng clan would not even be able to pay the salaries of their own guards. At that time, it'll be our Ling clan who will be the sole power in Grey Cloud Town," Ling Dongxing declared proudly and enthusiastically.